My boyfriend invited his childhood friend to live with us. She's a girl, and it's really putting a strain on our relationship. Am I in the wrong for wanting her gone? My boyfriend, Jake, and I have been together for 3 years, living together for 1. We've always had a fantastic relationship, great communication, respect, and just genuinely enjoying each other's company. Things were perfect, or so I thought. A few months ago, Jake's childhood friend Emily hit a rough patch. She lost her job and her apartment in quick succession and had nowhere to go. Jake, being the kind-hearted person he is, suggested she stay with us until she got back on her feet. I agreed because I trust Jake and wanted to help. Emily moved in, and at first, it was fine. She's nice, and we got along well enough. But gradually, things started to shift. Emily and Jake have a lot of shared history, and it became evident quickly. They have so many inside jokes, stories, and mutual friends. I often felt like an outsider in my own home. The first real red flag was how comfortable Emily became. She'd walk around in just a t-shirt and underwear, which made me uncomfortable. I brought it up to Jake, but he brushed it off, saying she's always been like that, and it's no big deal. I let it go, not wanting to seem insecure. But then, they started spending more and more time together. They'd watch movies, play video games, and even cook together. Jake and I still had our moments, but it felt like we were now sharing them with Emily. One night, I walked into the living room to find them snuggled up on the couch. When I asked about it, Jake said it was just friendly, and Emily agreed, looking almost embarrassed. I started feeling paranoid. Was I reading too much into this? They've known each other for years, and maybe this is just their dynamic. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The breaking point came last week. Jake and I had planned a romantic dinner for our anniversary. It was a big deal for me. But when I got home, Emily was there too. She said she didn't know it was a special night and felt bad, but Jake insisted she join us. I was hurt and furious, but I didn't want to ruin the night, so I went along with it. After dinner, I pulled Jake aside and told him how I felt. He got defensive, saying I was overreacting and that Emily needed our support. We argued, and I ended up crying myself to sleep. The next morning, Emily apologized and said she would give us more space. Things seemed better for a bit, but the tension between Jake and me lingered. We haven't been intimate in weeks, and every time I try to talk about it, he shuts down. I don't know what to do. I love Jake, and I want to support his friendship with Emily, but I also need to feel secure in our relationship. I'm considering asking Emily to find another place to stay, but I'm worried it will make me look like the bad guy. Reddit, am I being unreasonable? How do I address this without ruining my relationship? Update 1. Hey, Reddit. It's been a few weeks since my last post, and a lot has happened. I appreciate all the advice and support you guys gave me. Here's what's been going on. After reading through your comments, I realized that I needed to set some boundaries and have an honest conversation with Jake. I took a deep breath and sat him down, explaining how uncomfortable I'd been feeling. I told him that while I understood Emily was his friend, our relationship needed to come first. To my surprise, Jake was receptive. He apologized for being dismissive and agreed that things had gotten out of hand. We decided that the best course of action would be for Emily to find another place to stay. Jake said he would talk to her. The conversation with Emily was awkward, but necessary. She was understanding and apologized for overstepping. She told us she had been feeling guilty about imposing, but didn't know how to bring it up. She made arrangements to stay with another friend and moved out within the week. And with Emily gone, I thought things would get back to normal, but they didn't. The distance between Jake and me remained. It was like there was an invisible wall between us. We tried to get back into our old routines, but something had changed. We went out for a nice dinner one night, trying to rekindle the romance. It was fun, but it felt forced. On our way home, we talked about everything except what was really bothering us. When we got back, I suggested we spend the weekend away, just the two of us, hoping a change of scenery might help. That weekend was a mixed bag. We had some good moments, laughing and reminiscing about the early days of our relationship. But there were also long stretches of silence, and I couldn't shake the feeling that Jake's mind was elsewhere. On the last night, we finally had a heart-to-heart. Jake admitted he had been struggling with the whole situation. He felt torn between me and his loyalty to Emily. He also confessed that he had developed some feelings for her, but insisted he never acted on them. He was confused and didn't know how to process everything. Hearing this was like a punch to the gut. I appreciated his honesty, but it hurt. We talked for hours, and by the end of it, we were both emotionally exhausted. We decided to take a break to figure out our feelings and what we wanted. I moved in with a friend for a bit to give us both some space. It's been tough, but I think it was the right call. We've been in touch, and Jake's been going to therapy to work through his feelings. I'm also considering seeing a therapist to help me process everything. Right now I'm focusing on myself, trying to rediscover who I am outside of our relationship. It's a strange and sometimes lonely journey, but I know it's necessary. Jake and I still care about each other deeply, but we're taking things one day at a time. Thank you all for your support. I don't know what the future holds for Jake and me, but I'm hopeful we'll both come out of this stronger, whether together or apart. I'll keep you updated as things progress. Update 2. Hey Reddit, it's been a couple of months since my last update. I wanted to share where things stand now and express my gratitude for the continued support and advice. After Jake and I decided to take a break, I moved in with my friend Sarah. It was a strange adjustment at first, being away from Jake and our home, but it gave me the space I needed to think clearly. Sarah has been a rock, and having her support has made a huge difference. During this time, I started seeing a therapist. It was eye-opening. I realized that I had lost a bit of myself in the relationship. I had been so focused on us as a couple that I neglected my own needs and interests. Therapy helped me understand the importance of maintaining my own identity and boundaries. I picked up some old hobbies I had abandoned, like painting and hiking. I also reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in a while. It felt liberating to rediscover my passions and spend time with people who reminded me of who I was before everything got complicated. Meanwhile, JK was doing his own work. He continued therapy and started making changes in his life. We had a few conversations over the phone and met up a couple of times to check in with each other. These meetings were more open and honest than any we had had before. It was clear we were both growing and learning. A few weeks ago, Jake and I decided to meet up for a casual dinner. It wasn't about getting back together, but rather seeing where we stood. We talked about our experiences during the break and what we had learned. Jake admitted that his feelings for Emily had been a wake-up call for him. He realized he had been using her as a distraction from deeper issues in our relationship and within himself. I told him about my journey of self-discovery and how I had learned to prioritize my own needs. We both agreed that we still loved each other, but we needed to take things slow and see if we could rebuild our relationship from a healthier place. Since that dinner, we've been spending more time together, but with clear boundaries. We're not officially back together, but we're exploring the possibility. We're both committed to being honest and making sure we don't fall back into old patterns. Emily is still in our lives, but in a different way. She found a stable job and a place of her own. Jake and I agreed that if we were going to try to make things work, we needed to establish firm boundaries with her. We had a candid conversation with Emily about everything, and she was supportive and understanding. She apologized again for any pain she caused and assured us she never intended to come between us. Right now, I'm focusing on my own happiness and growth. Jake is doing the same. We're taking things day by day and being patient with each other. It's not perfect, and there are still moments of doubt and insecurity, but we're both committed to seeing where this new chapter takes us. Thank you all for your incredible support and advice throughout this journey. It hasn't been easy, but I've learned so much about myself and what I need in a relationship. I'll keep you updated as things progress. For now, I'm hopeful and cautiously optimistic about the future. Update 3. Hey Reddit, it's been several months since my last update, and I wanted to share the conclusion of this chapter in my life. Your support and advice have been invaluable, and I owe it to you all to let you know where things stand. After Jake and I decided to take things slow and focus on rebuilding our relationship, we continued to spend time together, both as a couple and individually. We made it a point to have regular check-ins to discuss our feelings and any concerns. This transparency and open communication were crucial in helping us navigate this new phase. We also set clear boundaries regarding Emily. She remained a friend, but we kept our interactions with her more structured and less frequent. This helped alleviate some of the tension and allowed Jake and me to focus on us without external distractions. During this time, I continued therapy and deepened my understanding of myself. I learned to assert my needs and communicate more effectively. I also embraced my hobbies and interests, which made me feel more fulfilled and balanced. Jake made significant strides as well. He became more self-aware and learned to address his emotions instead of avoiding them. He also started journaling, which helped him process his thoughts and feelings better. About 2 months ago, we decided to take a weekend trip together, revisiting the place where we had one of our first vacations. It was a nostalgic and emotional experience. We laughed, reminisced, and had deep conversations about our future. It was during this trip that we both realized we were ready to commit to rebuilding our relationship fully. When we returned, Jake officially asked me to move back in, and I agreed. But this time, we approached living together differently. We created a shared calendar to ensure we both had personal time and space. We also started a new tradition of having a weekly date night, no matter how busy life got. One of the most important changes was how we handled conflicts. Instead of letting things fester, we addressed issues as they arose, always striving to understand each other's perspectives. This made a huge difference in how we related to one another. As for Emily, she continued to be supportive and respected our boundaries. We occasionally hung out as a group, but the dynamic was healthier and more balanced. She found a new job she loved and was thriving, which made us happy for her. Fast forward to now, Jake and I are in a much better place. Our relationship feels stronger and more resilient than ever. We've learned to prioritize each other while also maintaining our individual identities. We've also discussed our long-term plans and are excited about the future we're building together. I'm incredibly grateful for the journey we've been on. It wasn't easy, and there were times I doubted we would make it through. But the hard work, honesty, and mutual support have paid off. We're both happier and healthier, both as individuals and as a couple. Update 4. Hey guys, it's been another few months, and I wanted to share the latest developments. Your ongoing support has been amazing, and I hope this final update offers some closure and inspiration. After Jake and I committed to rebuilding our relationship, things continued to improve steadily. Our communication remained open and honest, and we both worked hard to prioritize each other while maintaining our personal growth. We found a balance that worked for us, and it felt like we were truly on the right path. About a month ago, something significant happened that reaffirmed our progress. Jake and I decided to take a mini vacation to celebrate his birthday. We went to a cozy cabin in the mountains, a place we had always talked about visiting but never had the chance. It was a perfect blend of adventure and relaxation. During this trip, we had a lot of time to reflect on our journey together. One evening, while we were sitting by the fire, Jake surprised me with a heartfelt letter. In it, he expressed his gratitude for my patience, love, and unwavering support. He acknowledged the mistakes he had made and how he had grown from them. He also reaffirmed his commitment to our relationship and our future together. Reading that letter was incredibly emotional for me. It brought back memories of our struggles but also highlighted how far we had come. It was a powerful reminder of why we fought so hard to stay together. We spent that night talking about our dreams, aspirations, and how we envisioned our life moving forward. When we returned from the trip, we started discussing the possibility of taking our relationship to the next level. We both felt ready for a new chapter, one that involved even deeper commitment and partnership. Jake suggested we look into buying a home together, something we had always dreamed of, but never seriously considered until now. We began house hunting, and it has been an exciting and bonding experience. Every weekend we visit potential homes, imagining our future and discussing what we want in a place to call our own. It feels like a fresh start, a symbol of our renewed commitment to each other and our future. Meanwhile, I've continued to focus on my personal growth. I've been taking art classes and recently participated in a local gallery exhibition. It was a fantastic experience that boosted my confidence and allowed me to meet new people who share my interests. Jake has been supportive throughout, attending the exhibition and cheering me on. He's also been pursuing his interests, including joining a local soccer league and volunteering at a community center. These activities have enriched our lives and provided us with new experiences to share. As for our relationship with Emily, it has settled into a comfortable and healthy dynamic. She's doing well, and we maintain a supportive friendship. She recently got engaged, and Jake and I are genuinely happy for her. We've come full circle, and it feels good to have navigated that complex situation successfully.